Scotty Olson, he's a little guy with big ideas of title bouts in the near future. Tonight, he deals with an experienced Diosdado Andujar, who has ideas of his own. Not a bad idea, but it's Todd Foster who tonight hopes to make a point. And he hopes to make that point here at the Butte Civic Center as our tour of Big Sky Country continues. Hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins once more with my partner Al Bernstein, and now we have done a few towns in Montana, as it were, and all before the home folk for Todd Foster, and here he is in a similar situation tonight.
He loves coming back here to fight before his home crowd. He loves coming back to Montana, and why not? It's a beautiful state, and he gets a lot of great support here. Some guys, don't like fighting in front of their home crowd. It puts more pressure on him, not Todd.
Tonight, though, he is fighting a guy from just up the road, about 100 miles away, so there may be some split attentions here this evening. Let's talk a little about Todd Foster. There is that old saying that you have to walk before you can run, and in fact, Todd Foster's kind of walking toward a title.
Well, he is. Some people have suggested he's moved too slowly after getting out of the Olympics in 1988, where he did not win a medal but did perform well. He is a boxer who I think they want to make sure he's ready before he gets a world title match. Could he be fighting a top 10 contender by now? Yeah, quite probably. Will he be in the future? Yes, if he keeps winning. So it's a slower move, but they think the right move.
Let's address the guy that he is fighting tonight, Davey Montana. At one time a quality opponent, but the fact is he just hasn't fought very much.
He's fought only twice since 1988. That's obviously not a very active record. He's the kind of guy who's been in against a lot of good people, has not beaten them. He admits candidly at the age of 30, coming off that layoff, he's got to make something big happen tonight, and to do so, he's just going to have to pressure Todd Foster and hope he lands something big.
And tonight we're also going to see a little guy by the name of Scotty Olson, and Scotty Olson probably has a rather bad memory of the state of Montana.
Well, we love coming to Montana. The last trip for him was pretty tough in Shelby, Montana, when Ramon Solis rocked him badly in the 6th round. Very nearly had him out, did have him out on his feet. Scotty went on to win the match. And it's from the frying pan into the fire, if you'll excuse a cliche. Have I ever used one before?
I don't believe
Maybe
so,
once
no.
or twice. Anyway, Diosdado Andujar is a very tough opponent for him tonight. Maybe the toughest, the most experience he's had.
Yeah, he is a guy who comes in here with 49 fights. So if nothing else, he does have a lot of experience. And one fact is, Scotty Olson just doesn't know anything about this guy. So Scotty is going to have to be at his very best. And we expect a different Scotty Olson than the one who showed up in Shelby.
Transplanted Canadian Scotty Olson now fights out of Las Vegas, and everything he rolls comes up 7 or 11. He marched through his first 14 opponents with ease. Manuel Martinez felt his power and went in one. Alicio Gomez followed suit. And it looked like tough Ramon Solis would do the same thing. But Ramon would not stay down. And though Scotty peppered him over the first 5 rounds, an ill wind was brewing in Shelby, Montana. Solis rocked Olson in the 6th and nearly had him out on his feet. Scotty, who calls himself a throwback to other boxing days, hung on. He came back to perform well in the bout. And he hung on for a very tough win. He hopes this trip to Montana will be easier.
And there is the man who Scotty Olson will have to deal with tonight. And as we mentioned, this is an experienced opponent. Diosdado Andujar out of the Philippines, just one fight in the United States, very much an unknown quantity to Scotty Olson. So this is not going to be a walk in the park, we don't believe, for Scotty Olson, who had such a tough time the last time he was here. Here's Scotty Olson now coming into the ring. They call him the Bulldog. As a matter of fact, his mom is in the audience. He doesn't even know it yet. So Scotty Olson is made, and there, right there, is Mrs. Olson, who has made the drive down from Edmonton. And Scotty doesn't know it yet. I'm sure he will after this fight. Right now, let's get to know Scotty Olson with Michael Buffer. Michael?
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the famous Civic Center here in the Big Sky country of Butte, Montana, where tonight, Top Rank Incorporated and the undisputed, undefeated king of beer, Budweiser, presents professional boxing for your entertainment. All the bouts tonight are sanctioned by the Montana Board of Athletics. And now let's get things started with a 10-round bout in the flyweight division. The referee for this contest is Dean Kromarek. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with black letters, he weighs in at an even 114 pounds. He's a native of the Philippines, but now living and fighting out of Stockton, California. His professional record, 38 victories with 12 KOs against 7 defeats and 2 draws. Let's welcome Diosdado Andujar. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with white trim and weighing at even 111 pounds. Originally from Edmonton, Canada, but now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. A member of the 1988 Canadian Olympic team, he's now ranked number 7 in the world by the WBO because he's undefeated as a professional, 15-0, 12 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, Scotty Bulldog Olson.
Now let's talk about the Montana rules. Couple of different things.
And stop. In case of a knockdown, go to the farthest.
Let's run these rules down while we tinker with the gadgets on Al's microphone, which we hope to get done. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Standing 8 count. Only the referee can stop the fight. 10-point must scoring system. 3 judges score the fight, and the fighter can only be saved with a bell in the final round. And the incidental headbutt rule is interesting here, too, in the fact that after 1 round, as opposed to after 5, they will go to the cards. We're underway round 1. Scotty Olson in the red. Andujar in the white trunks. Diosdado Andujar, who goes by Dio. And there you see the knockout percentages. 80% for Scotty Olson. Scotty got a real scare, there's no question about it, in his last fight with Solis in Shelby. And he has not been doing a lot of sparring, from what we understand. So it'd be good to keep an eye on the eye of Scotty Olson. And Andujar working the jab pretty well to start things off. Olson told us this morning that he did not have any problem with the retina, only a bruise, and he did go to a couple of retina clinics to make sure that there was no real problem with the retina. Olson working to the body. Andujar with a strong jab early in this fight. And as we mentioned, he's a guy with a lot of experience. He said 49 fights is right. 37 wins. He's lost 10 fights, but he's been in there with some very good fighters. Olson catches Andujar with the left hand, driving him into the ropes.
Scotty Olson, I'm here. How about that?
Good to meet
I've
you.
arrived,
Yes.
so to speak. Olson's pressure, you see it here in this first round, Barry, is, you know, as you've been saying, he's the kind of guy who, if you don't stop him early in a bout, you have a lot of problem. You have to get him off his game.
And Olson working the jab pretty well. You can just tell, though, looking at Andujar, he's a guy who has been around the block a couple of times.
He's counter-punching extremely well. He is very experienced, as you said, as that record would indicate. And they expected this from Scotty Olson. They knew he would pressure them, and they're hoping to counter well and do what Ramon Solis did here in Montana, and that is rock Olson.
And 12 knockouts in 37 wins by Andujar, so he's not a guy who's going to get you out of there with 1 punch.
Scotty Olson really conscious of his defense. Of course, he is that style where you come in, he wants to take as few punches as possible.
Working harder, he says, on his defense these days than he is on his offense, which is kind of a given. End of round 1, and a rather even round for both men. We'll be back.
Scotty Olson had a little trouble getting in against Andujar in the last round, but that one did get in, the jab, a strong jab.
And Andujar working a good jab of his own.
Yeah,
Counter-punching effectively as well.
I'm sorry, Barry. In fact, Andujar landed 14-39 jab.
And again, we have a few technical problems with Al's microphone. So I'll try to carry the ball here. You can give me signals if you like, though. Andujar again trying to work the jab and counter with the right hand. Take a look at the numbers from the first round. Andujar landing 35%, but more punches and throwing more punches. And we scored that first round for Andujar. And Scotty with a bit of a puzzle trying to get inside of Andujar's jab. Working his own, but missing with it 3 times. Andujar, nice combination. The left hand staggers Olson. Olson is in trouble again. Olson got staggered with the left, and Anderson again backs Olson up. And a good right hand by Andujar. Scotty Olson having troubles here. Takes the left hand from Andujar again, and that left eye is starting to puff once again.
Boy, trouble is the understatement, Barry. I mean, this is so reminiscent of what happened to him against Solis. Andujar unable to put him away here, though, and of course Solis paid for that himself.
But you could see a little reddening alongside the left eye, and in fact a little bit alongside the right eye as well of Scotty Olson.
He's a very tough guy, Scotty Olson. He didn't take a backward step during all that, and that may have cost him, actually.
Nice uppercut by Olson.
Scotty Olson is not jabbing his way in. I think that's costing him a little bit.
Well, it could be a little frustration setting into Scotty as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, Andujar's done a good defensive job. Here's a good uppercut by Olson. And has counterpunched well. This is, you know, it's important to remember that now we're in the second bout in a row in which Olson has been rocked, and we'd never seen him rocked prior to this.
Yeah, that and that eye could really start to be a chronic thing.
Good defense by Andujar.
And another good round for Andujar.
You're right on his chest and you're standing there. You gotta move that head. All right? Move, roll.
Big deep breath, Scotty. Big deep breath.
When you're rolling, Scott, you work to the body. You gotta work to the body because you're rolling. You're getting away from them punches, but you're not coming back with anything.
He's all right. Huh? He's all right. Just a little.
Day one, take some deep breaths.
Big deep breath, Scotty.
Scott, day one. After you weave with your hands up, one's got to go to the body. I know he's a natural southpaw. Remember that. He's a natural southpaw. It's change on you.
We take a look at the left hand, the left hook that landed right on the jaw of Scotty Olson. Andujar with a very good counterpunch. And then he will hit him with an uppercut. There you see it, the punch that I think really did damage to Scotty Olson, even beyond that left hook.
We did have the doctor go into the ring and take a look at Scotty Olson and Richie Sandoval convincing him that everything is okay. But there is a little bit of reddening alongside the left eye. It's just something to watch. I don't think it's a huge concern. Combination by Andujar to start the third round. And a shutout for you for Andujar.
Oh, it has to be Andujar winning the first two rounds. And Scotty Olson has just not been able to get in and land his shots the way he wants. Hasn't been able to get past the counterpunching of Andujar.
And you might have heard Richie Sandoval tell Scotty Olson, move your head. You got to keep moving when you get in close. And that was something that we spoke to him about.
They've worked very hard with Scotty Olson on those kinds of skills. And as he steps up in opponents, he's having a little more trouble, I guess, utilizing it. The last time we were here when in Montana, when Solis hurt Scotty Olson, part of it was he had this bad ear infection, which was just about healed, but you almost got the feeling it contributed to him getting hurt. Certainly not so tonight, because he is not suffering from that.
Well, and as we mentioned too, there was word sort of spreading amongst boxing people around the hotel today that Scotty had not been doing a lot of sparring, mainly because they wanted to let the eye heal or didn't want him to really get in there and mix it up with anybody. And I don't know that that's having any effect on his performance. There's a right hand by Olson. And he takes a left hand from Andujar.
I think a key element here is the lack of jab of Olson. There it is. See, it really helps him get in. It paves the way for those shots to the body and the head.
Good right hand by Olson, and Andujar counters.
You can see what a good veteran Dio Andujar is. Absorbing punches on the arms in a lot of cases and then countering well.
Good body work by Olson, but Andujar gives him a little bit too.
And you know, a key thing here is, the reason I'm harping on the jab is that when Olson jabs his way, it opens up more things. But just coming in like that, it's a little harder for him then to land his punches afterwards.
Olson doing some good work to the body of Andujar. So we come to the end of the third round. A little bit better round for Scotty Olson as he drives Andujar into the ropes to end it, but he's in there with a tough guy. Scotty Olson comes out, pops the jab to start things.
A good idea for him, as we've said.
And a better third round for him, too.
Yes, he got inside. He was able to land some pretty good body shots as well.
In the third round, fighters throwing almost an equal number of punches, but Olson getting there much more often. And it was the body work. And Olson continues to work the body and do so with some success. A counter right hand by Andujar. A counter left, I beg your pardon.
That left hook of Andujar is getting in. Excellent body shot underneath by Andujar. Scotty is really being hit with that hook. Dio is getting that left hook in, looking just for the time. After Olson throws his right hand, he drops it a little, and then Andujar's there with the hook.
Clash of heads there, too. Nice left hand again, right on the button.
And the uppercut. Andujar is counter-punching extraordinarily well.
Just as he indicated he would.
You know something? This is a much more one-dimensional performance by Scotty Olson than ones we've seen in the past.
And there was a left hand by Olson. And that got Andujar's attention. One thing that is apparent is that Olson can't afford to get careless with Andujar.
Not at all, because Andujar's hurt him, and there you see the counter-punching ability.
And the eye of Olson is no worse than it was in the second round, so that bodes well. Left hand again by Andujar.
Dio's only 24 years old, started when he was 17 years old as a professional, so he's a veteran already at 24.
Good example of his defensive abilities right there is both those left hands inside by Olson were caught on the arms of Andujar. And Andujar's catching a lot of those punches on the elbows. There was a right hand that he caught right on the side of the chin though.
The Olson right has not been landing until now. Now he's starting to get that punch in a little bit better. And there's Olson throwing his own uppercut, which is a good punch. He's really ignored that to this point.
So Olson getting himself back into this hunt apparently has won the last two rounds. End of round 4, and we'll be back right after this.
Andujar showing Scotty Olson that good counter left hook, and that's the punch that hurt Olson earlier in the bout, and it did some damage there in the fourth round, too.
Interesting little sidelight that I noticed just as Andujar came out to start this fifth round. As he stood up, he winced in pain. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. And even fight.
Yeah, on my card. Olson winning the last round by just the narrowest of margins. I think Andujar is weakening a little bit, Barry. I'm not sure what the reason. Maybe he got hurt by a body shot. Doesn't mean he's out of this bout at all, but he's still landing good shots. It just feels like he is not quite as sharp as he was right at the beginning.
And Olson is able to move him backward, which is significant. Here are the total numbers in the fight so far, and it is close. Good right hand by Olson, and that got Andujar to cover up.
Well, if you're a boxer like Olson, you hope that you don't get knocked out before the pressure you can put on your opponent takes him out.
Well, the other thing, too, that's significant, I think, Al, too, is that Olson is having an easy time getting inside now on Andujar, which he wasn't early in the fight.
And not getting hit with as many counter shots while he's coming in.
This is a huge fight for Scotty Olson because coming off what wasn't his best performance last time and feeling that he could be, just a couple fights away from possibly a championship match. He certainly can't afford to lose, and he can't even afford to really look bad in the match. Good body shots by Andujar.
And then coming upstairs with 3 shots that get there.
And he's hurt right now.
But again, Olson is able to back Andujar up.
Olson committed to body work as he always is.
And has been warned for low blows on a couple of occasions already, but I don't think he's in any real danger of losing the point right at the moment. That's just a fact of life when you go downstairs like this.
I have never seen him miss a punch as badly as he just did, Scotty Olson. He missed by 3 feet. He's winging his punches, Barry. He's not precise as he has been on other occasions. Looking more like a brawler tonight than in other occasions.
Still in the corner of Olson. They're yelling at him, move that head, move that head. But he's not doing a lot of. Coming to the end of round 5, and this fight still seems as though it is there for the taking. We'll be back. Round 6 now. Andujar in the white trunks, Olson in the red.
I love the way you do those promos. I'm in awe. Makes me want to watch a baseball game, for God's sake.
See, the promo said that Cincinnati Reds have 3 players with over 15 home runs. So do the Giants.
Well, darn it.
Darn it.
I hate when they're not fair to your Giants.
That's right. Am I being a homer?
Look at this. Is this close or what? Scotty Olson with a 1-punch edge, and that's reflected in the fact that in the last round he edged Andujar a little bit, and also the fact that in the last 3 rounds Olson has been kind of taking control back after 2 very difficult first rounds. There's the hook by Andujar. That's the one that he's been landing, Barry, as a good counterpunch.
Andujar came on strongly at the end of that last round, too. How'd you score that last round?
I gave it to Olson. It was the narrowest of margins. Andujar off to an excellent start here in this round, of course.
Crowd reacts to Olson more than it does to Andujar, so don't be fooled by the reaction of the crowd.
Yeah, he has fought here before. He's, he's a very popular boxer all through the Midwest, in North Dakota and other places. He's the kind of guy they will react to.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind, too, is that we are at altitude here, and that could become a factor as this fight drones on.
There's the jab by Olson. I'll tell you what, he just does not use that punch much, and he has a good one. And it's one that they work on as a weapon to get inside and do your damage. Such a misnomer to think that short boxers who have that kind of style can't jab their way in. They can and they should.
Olson missed that right hand and a near clash of heads. In fact, they might have actually clashed heads.
Look at what happened there. A double jab by Olson. He's right in there where he can work the body.
Hands are free. Punch out. Olson works oftentimes with welterweights, people weigh up to 145, 146 pounds. So he's used to absorbing some punching. Good right hand by Olson.
Then he got hit with a big shot, and now he's hurt with uppercut.
He is in big trouble now. That says something about Andujar. He took Olson's best and came right back.
And look at Olson still plowing ahead. If there is one thing you absolutely can say about Scotty Olson, and there's more than one thing, it is that you will not find a tougher guy.
No, he said,
anywhere.
I'll fight until there are no more bells.
A special 6th round here.
Very tough round to score.
Veteran now, okay? And you gotta remember, after you weave, you gotta come back with something. Don't forget that.
I'm just watching for that.
I know, and you know that.
Let me tell him something.
Scotty, don't lounge upstairs. Anytime you lounge upstairs, you have to give you some punches and make you bubble a little bit. Don't go upstairs because you leave yourself open completely. Okay? You understand what I'm talking about?
Don't lounge with the right hand.
Here is Scotty Olson jabbing his way in, a very effective maneuver for him. However, after he had hurt Andujar with the right hand, we thought, or at least landed a good one, he got nailed with a good counter uppercut and a good right hand by Andujar.
He's got to keep moving in the body. He's head on it.
Seventh round, scheduled 10-rounder, close fight. Olson in the red, Andujar in the white.
Scotty Olson comes right out and uses a jackhammer jab right to the head of Andujar. Should give him some ideas.
Olson's corner very clear about what they want from Scotty. Go downstairs, don't lunge upstairs. Every time you do, you leave yourself wide open. Coming from both Richard Sandoval and Miguel Diaz, a couple of pretty good minds in the sport of boxing. These are flyweights, remember, 111 pounds. Andujar and Olson. Going 10 rounds, and the fight is very close. Take a look at the jabs. You've been talking about Olson's jab.
Look at that, only 45 throw. Now, it's true Andujar hasn't landed too many more, but I think it's more imperative for Olson to land it. And the percentage he's landing when he throws is an interesting point, so he should be throwing it more. If you could land a punch 62% of the time, wouldn't you throw it more often?
I think so. Right hand by Olson from long range gets there, but it's a grazing punch. I'd say it's a close fight. At least on your card, it's a close fight.
I gave the last round to Diosdado Andujar, and I have it dead even. There's some additional swelling, I think, around the left eye of Scotty Olson, the one that gave him so much trouble in his last bout. Look at that, a strong jab by Olson. I know I'm berating this point, but he throws that jab, and I'll tell you, Barry, it is not just a good landing jab, it's a punishing jab. Andujar has used that uppercut so effectively, used it just a moment ago, and he said to us today, this morning, he wanted to counterpunch Olson, and he's done that.
Absolutely, going with his game plan. Got Olson turned around, hitting the left hand there. I think that might have caught him on the elbow.
Olson is walking in, not throwing anything. Just not throwing. And the left eye really starting to get swollen now for Olson.
Yeah, it was that eye started in the first round. After the second round, it looked about the same as it did going into this round, and now it seems as if it is swelling.
This is a much less precision performance by Olson than we had seen in recent fights leading up to his fight with Ramon Solis, and even including the first 5 rounds against Solis. Punches are wider. He's not using the jab. He's not throwing his combinations as well. And he's run into a man, Diosdado Andujar, who is quite capable of taking advantage of that.
So we come to the end of round number 7. And again, nothing has dropped off in this fight. It remains a very close fight. We'll be back. Sandoval, meanwhile, in the face of Scotty Olson. A little bit of concern showing on Rich's face.
For the first time, really, that I've ever seen, although maybe after that Ramon Solis 6th round, but I'll tell you, they understand things are not going quite the way they planned.
Through the first 7 rounds, you see how close this fight is.
Olson with a slight edge there, but I thought Andujar took that last round.
Left hand by Olson got through, and Olson continues to headhunt, though, which goes contrary to what his corner told him before the last round.
Scotty's using his head as a weapon in there, too. The referee might start to warn him. And see, one thing is, Olson's very busy here, and some of those punches are getting through, and Andujar kind of just laying there, not throwing. Not everything is landing from Olson, but...
And Andujar letting himself get backed into the ropes too, which of course is where Olson wants him. Andujar has done his best work in the center of the ring.
Olson holding the rope to keep Andujar pinned in there and then throwing shots, which of course is an illegal maneuver, and he's warned about it.
There's the right hand by Olson. That did get there. And again, Andujar comes right back with a right hand of his own, downstairs and then up.
Dio Andujar is so inactive in this round, it's going to be very tough for him to win unless in this last half he really picks up the pace and lands a lot of clean shots.
Again, one of the keys to this fight, I think, Al, is that Andujar is letting Olson back him up as he did right there.
The hook is still there for Andujar. He's just not throwing it. Dio may be getting a bit fatigued right now, or just taking the round off.
Not much time to take a round off in a close fight like this.
No, I wouldn't say it's a good maneuver if he's doing it. And he's really pretty much giving this round to Olson. It's not that Olson's doing great work, but he's doing enough.
Counter right hand by Andujar.
Now that jab opened up the right for Olson and landed it. Andujar hit him with a counterpunch. I don't think Scotty Olson has hurt Andujar in this bout. And he's hit him with some huge right hands.
Andujar is clearly still looking to counter. But I think your point is well taken. He just hasn't done much in this round.
Come on, win. Let's work, Scott. Use the right hand. It's free.
Punch out.
Right down, buddy. Right down.
Not as much ado about nothing right there. We come to the end of the 8th round, and this is more a round that Andujar lost than that Scotty Olson won.
Scotty Olson jabs, lands the good right hand, but looky here. Good uppercut by Dio Andujar. So he did the right thing, but then he still got caught with a right uppercut.
But let's bring up a point we talk about all the time when we see a fighter like Dio Andujar, and that is that it's very difficult for counterpunchers to win decisions.
Often it is, especially when you've got a real aggressive man like Scotty Olson. It's a very good point, Barry. And while I have it even, as you see, it is possible that some of the judges feel that the aggressiveness of Olson would gain him an advantage in this bout.
Yeah, Andujar, when he does throw power punches, sets down on them pretty nicely. That was a right hand by Olson. In the 8th round, Olson just busier, just as you pointed out.
Did more, and so he almost had to win the fight, the round by virtue of that.
Even so, for flyweights, 57 punches, not a lot of punches.
No, and not as many as we're used to seeing Olson throw. Scotty Olson has dreams of fighting Dave McCauley, the IBF champion, but he better get through this one unscathed. Well, he won't get through unscathed, but get through the win.
Body shot by Andujar. Andujar, when he gets Olson at long range, can do some work. But when Olson is in close to him, Andujar has problems.
So the second match in America for Andujar. He fought Miguel Pino in Sacramento in January, won a 10-round decision. He's here in the States and likes it, and he's hoping that he can find gold as a boxer here.
And again, the swelling around the left eye of Olson is not too good. It's not going to have any effect on this fight because there's only a round and 30 seconds left. But I'm sure it's something Olson's going to have to think about.
It's becoming a recurring problem here.
Coming to the end of the 9th round now, and this fight may be decided in the final 3 minutes. Dio Andujar and Scotty Olson. A good fight. We'll be back. Dio Andujar.
In Filipino.
Yes. And in Scotty Olson's corner, they're saying, don't relax.
Come on, Scotty. Come on, Scotty.
That eye looks pretty nasty, and it's really something that Olson is going to have to, I don't know what you can do about it, but it looks as though it could start to be a chronic thing. It happened very early in this fight.
And Dio Andujar has been, in a way, his own worst enemy in this sense. He just has not thrown a lot of punches in this bout in many rounds. There, now when he chooses to throw those left hooks and right uppercuts, he lands against Olson.
And now he's pushing Olson off of him where he needs to be. That's a slip. That was not a punch.
And he managed to land a counter left hook as Olson was chasing him.
In the 9th round, as you can see, Olson still not throwing a lot of punches, but certainly doing enough. And Andujar, just not. There's a combination by Andujar and another.
Landing well, Andujar. He is saying right now, I want this. And I think this is something maybe he couldn't do it in some of those rounds, but he's doing it now. And he is off to a blazing start here in this 10th round. And remember, he had Scotty Olson hurt earlier. This is going to be a very, very difficult match to judge.
But again, here, what you have here is an aggressive fighter against a counterpuncher in a close fight. Rarely do you see the counterpuncher win the fight.
I've got Olson ahead by 1 point. Gave him the last round. Obviously, he was much busier. Andujar way ahead in this round.
Well, you can see Scotty Olson just wind up with that right hand.
Well, and that's not the way he normally has been boxing. There's a big difference tonight in Scotty Olson. He got off to a poor start, and he's been wild, winging with one puncher, not throwing combinations, not doing the things that made people feel like he was progressing each bout. The longer Andujar can hold on to him here. Oh, big headbutt by Olson. Yeah. Big headbutt.
That stunned Andujar, I think.
Yeah, he even took that one pretty good, in addition to the right hand. Well, this one, this will go down to the wire, and it will be literally anyone's bout. A draw would not be inappropriate.
No, it would not surprise me.
That's probably the way I'm going to score it, unless something dramatic happens here in these last 30-some seconds.
Fight is over. Maybe wait a little bit. Outstanding fight. And there's a look at Scotty's mom. A little concern showing on her face too.
Well, she seems kind of happy, but also, as you said, a little concerned about the fact that her son absorbed some punishment and is in a very, very difficult bout and of extremely close decision, I would think. But we hate
It's going to be interesting. I think this is a very interesting decision that we're about to see or hear.
You look at the total for the fight, so you see Scotty Olson with a slight edge. They ended up throwing exactly the same amount. Isn't that ironic? I guess that's interesting looking at that. We kept talking about Andujar not throwing. I think it was that in certain rounds Andujar threw so few that he almost took himself out of those rounds. I guess that's the explanation.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I think toward the end of the fight, Andujar threw less, and Olson didn't do that much more, to tell you the truth.
No, he really didn't.
So we await the decision here, and I would have to think a close decision. But then what do I know? No. Let's get it and see now from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards, and we have a split decision. Here's the official scoring. Gerald Dunbar scores the bout 99-92. He has it for Andujar. Joe Antonietti scores it 96-94 for Olson. And Kevin McCarl scores about 97-93 for the winner by split decision. Still undefeated, Scotty Olson.
Wildly divergent scores. Maybe that's the only news here.
See, now that's the thing that surprised me. The fact is, it was not a close decision. 96-94, the only one of the three judges that had it close. The other two lopsided. One